On Monday, yesterday, a jury found R. Kelly guilty on 9 counts, including racketeering, bribery, and sexual exploitation of a child. These charges all stemmed from a decades-long sex trafficking operation that was run by the singer, where he preyed on women and underage girls and boys and manipulated them with money and sex. The tragedy of this situation, though, is that it wasn't actually a secret. There were always signs that R. Kelly was a predator. It's like everybody knew, and nobody seemed to be able to do anything about it. There was the covert marriage to singer Aaliyah when she was only 15 years old, the 2002 sex tape that allegedly showed R. Kelly having sex with a minor, and then there was that Touré interview he did, y'all remember this, where he didn't even deny that he had an attraction to teenagers. Accusers like Tiffany Hawkins spoke out 25 years ago, and her accusations fell on deaf ears over at the Illinois State's Attorney's Office, where they weren't even interested in prosecuting or bringing charges back then. For decades, journalist Jim DeRogatis wrote about R. Kelly's abuse and his victims, and nobody really seemed to care as he was publishing article after article, until finally, in 2019, Hampton's Lifetime documentary series, Surviving R. Kelly, sent shockwaves through the culture and finally broke through. The documentary was the tipping point that shifted the conversation around R. Kelly and the consequences that he should face. And most importantly, it finally sparked real, widespread empathy for his victims and the turmoil that they faced. Why didn't anybody care enough to see about these women all those years, to feel for them, to demand justice for them? Joining me now to discuss the verdict and the role that her documentary played in getting justice for these victims is Hampton. I am so honored and excited to have you here, Dream. Thank you so much for joining Amplified.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You know, so many of us out here just really believe and know in our hearts that we would not be here today if it wasn't without you and without your work. So I'm just curious, as someone who has been knee-deep in thinking about this for decades and then certainly putting together the documentary, just like, what was your reaction yesterday, finally seeing the verdict, finally seeing consequences for his actions? Like, how are you feeling?
My first thought went, of course, to the survivors. You know, I was surprised. I can't say that I expected any of this. You know, R. Kelly was a 50-year-old R&B singer who hadn't had a hit in 10 years when we did Surviving R. Kelly. And his predation, like you said, had been an open secret for almost 3 decades. So I certainly I can't say that we expected, and there was a team of us. It wasn't just me making this docuseries. We didn't go into this saying that there are going to be charges filed a month after this airs, or that even it'll find like some huge audience. You know, I knew that there was an audience that I wanted to engage, and that was his. And he's a genre singer, an R&B artist whose audience and has the love and currency of Black people and has had that for a long time. So I was surprised and shocked on every level. But I thought about the survivors immediately. I thought about Joy Savage, if you want to be honest. I thought about, the remaining victim who's still, her family describes her as brainwashed.
Yeah. Like, and I wonder, I think about all these survivors too, and I really just want to make sure that we focus our conversations on them because they were the voices and the people that were so unseen. I wonder, have you, in the wake of all this, have had any opportunity to be in touch or to just hear from them and their reactions as all of this is coming down?
No, in terms of the documentary, the role that executive producer Tamara Simmons always played was to be that person who was the connection to the survivors, to bring them on board. I personally brought Sparkle on board, but this was a project that I was invited onto. And a big part of my role in making this documentary, besides interviewing and sitting with every single survivor for hours under very hot lights, asking them to reopen trauma and pain, was to make sure that this was a project that could withstand any litigation. So do you know what that looks like and feels like when you are an interviewer who has to ask follow-up questions that a detective might ask? You have to say things like, "Oh, this happened. Did you tell anyone at the time? Who is that person? May I have their contact?" Like, we had to produce a transcript for this show that could be read in open court and could stand up to that kind of scrutiny. So in that moment, as producer, a showrunner, I wasn't able to be a survivor myself. I wasn't able to be like a sister or a friend. I had to produce something that would make it to air and that we wouldn't get sued over. And despite allegate or threats from his camp, and accusations that we had lied and that there were falsehoods in this docu series, we never got sued. And furthermore, everything that was in our docu-series ended up being repeated in open court under oath over the past 5 weeks. So that was the kind of rigor that we had to bring to the docu-series. Yeah.
Wow, I can't even imagine the pressure. Now, you have been a journalist for years and years and years, and obviously having the journalistic rigor to tell the truth all the time, to profile people, etc. But the care that you had to take, knowing kind of over your shoulder that either you could be sued for libel, right? The whole production could be in a precarious situation. But then the idea that your transcripts might at some point be a part of the litigation, be used by prosecutors. The pressure of that, like, how do you, as a creative, because I want to honor you as someone who certainly is a creative storyteller first and foremost, right? How do you reconcile that as a creative person trying to like look over your shoulder and now parse words in that way? Like, what is that process even like?
I mean, it's difficult. I don't want to complain. It's a job, and it's a really great job, and often there is creative freedom in filmmaking. This wasn't that, though. This wasn't, I've been thinking a lot about this, actually. I've been thinking about documentaries or this process as a possible site of healing, and it really isn't. Again, this is us asking them to relive and reopen their trauma, and then they have to begin to do the work of healing. Before we came on air, I sent you a piece that just went live in the Washington Post that I wrote about what might justice look like beyond this verdict, what might healing look like for them. And I've really been thinking about some of the things that I wish we'd had on the set. I wish we'd had therapists. Some of the survivors complained about that afterwards. It was something that I'd asked for. But again, a production company is more concerned with having a lawyer there that's making sure I'm not answering leading questions than they are, say, the care of a survivor. That doesn't mean that, Murray or Lifetime were cold. It just means that this is a corporate company that's publicly traded, and we're asking them to come, we're asking them to tell this story in this intimate and public way, both intimate and public, which is, an oxymoron. And then they have to then there has to be the work of the healing. And I was thinking about what can be done in terms of funds, in terms of resources, in terms of restitution, quite frankly. I've been thinking about the reports about R. Kelly having a negative, bank balance. And I was thinking about the money that he spent, the resources that he spent running this criminal operation. And by that, I mean that he had assistants, he had a staff that helped him commit these crimes. That bought tickets, that decided, that knew who was going to be eating that night and who wasn't. I don't know. I've just been thinking a lot about what the victims are owed, by us, this creative team that brought this to light, by R. Kelly, and by the larger public, and money isn't a small part of it. Therapy is expensive and they need years of it.
It's expensive, and the way you're describing this, I'm realizing that in some ways these people are reliving their trauma. They're going through therapy in the public eye, right? It's a little bit, I think, voyeuristic of us, as you talk through this, to have been able to bear witness. Thank God for their courage, right, on behalf of themselves, is frankly this opportunity for your platform for them to use as an advocacy space for themselves to even kind of get to this point. But, you know, thank you for raising that, and in that Washington Post piece that you wrote and published today, talking so much about the need to protect the survivors and you know, what is the debt that we owe them? Because you're right, you made that point that there's so much focus on punishing the abuser that we often forget that it's the victims that don't have the resources that they need to truly heal around all of this. And, you know, as we figure out what happens next, there certainly are some victory laps going down right now, like, oh yeah, the sentencing, and like, finally, right? Yeah. But there's all these people's lives who have been just completely torn apart, that now they've got to figure out how to put them back together. And, you know, just what can we do as people out in the community who are watching and ultimately kind of cheering them on? Do you have some words for us about the way that we should be mindful of how we use language maybe in social media, or the things that we say as we describe or post about what's happening and kind of move the public fodder, knowing that there are people at home who are watching this with deep wounds?
You know, and again, this is a very self-reflexive kind of meta, like me thinking about the process of filmmaking, right? I think, and I used to feel that way when I would watch, say, talk show hosts conduct interviews, and I was like, they're not necessarily a therapist. I'm not certain that they're qualified to hold this material, right? And I know that that's true of myself. But beyond that, your question around how do we talk about this? I mean, I want to be led by survivors. I want to be led by these women who self-advocated and who continue to do so. I want to be in a position to think about like what infrastructure might mean around investment, you know, what a fund might look like. That's specific to like Black women and girls. That might be specific to Chicago. I think about existing organizations like A Long Walk Home, that Sherazade and Salamisha Tillett, who I did turn to when I was first invited on to Surviving R. Kelly. The first call I made was to Salamisha and her sister, because I knew that they had been doing this work in Chicago for a long, long time. And I wanted their guidance on how to go about it. And when, say, Dominique, when her mother rescued her on camera, I immediately called them again and was like, is there someone who can do a rapid response therapy session with Dominique? You know, all of these questions. But then I also think about, I also think about the survivors as experts themselves that need to be invested in, so that we can, you know, look at them having survived this as people who deserve investment also to prevent further harm in their communities and our communities. So those are some of the things I've been thinking about. This question of institution.
Yeah. You know, this is actually a perfect segue into our next segment. We're going to keep you here, Dream Hampton. Everybody, both seasons of Surviving R. Kelly are currently available on Lifetime On Demand. We're going to be right back with Dream, and we're adding to our conversation Monifa Bendelli, who is also going to join us to talk about the fund, actually, that Dream mentioned, and how we can do a better job at supporting survivors. Back after this on Amplified here on BNC.